So it looks like PC Gamer secured a pretty big interview with Studio Wildcard, and this is meant to be full of information of the upcoming Genesis Part 1 DLC. I read some bits on Twitter and I was like, what is going on? Apparently there's some really interesting stuff in here. So we're going to sit down, read through all of this and see what there is to say on this, because also they managed to get an exclusive Genesis Part 1 photo, which is similar to what we got in the crunch, but it's a different one. This is a whole new reveal of another look at the ocean in Genesis Part 1, which is really cool. So if you guys enjoy today's video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe because it really supports me. And let's get in with this, because insanely punishing survival game Atlas is being distilled into a more accessible form for ARK Survival Ascended's new DLC. The Tides of the Fortune update will let players craft customizable ship and sail across a simulated ocean. And now if you're big into games with water and ocean, this is going to be for you, because they're really going in depth into the way the waves work, the way you sail the sea. I'm quite excited for this. So last week, I sat down with Studio Wildcard co-founders Jeremy and Jesse, mostly to grill them about Vin Diesel, but also to talk about what's happening with ARK Survival Ascended these days. I was surprised when Jeremy started talking not about dinosaurs, but pirates, bringing up another game Studio Wildcard has developed, Atlas. Remember Atlas? The open world pirate survival game was put to sea back in December 2018, but had a rough launch, including performance and stability problems that led to heaps of negative reviews, and it's still out there. You can buy it and play it, but unlike ARK Survival Evolved, Atlas never recovered from its shaky start. It didn't really work out for us because it had some insane tech, some crazy cool ideas, but as a game loop, it had a lot of problems, Jeremy said. Atlas is like crazy cool tech, but a lot of game design lessons of what to not do. Atlas took place in a huge networked ocean world of stitched together servers so players could sail from server to server as they battled each other and collected resources. It was a labor-intensive game. Logs felled trees could only be carried one at a time. Ships were built plank by plank, and defeat meant you basically had to start all over again. All of this sounds very interesting in theory, but you put them all together and what's the result? A game that's insanely punishing, and if you make one wrong turn, you've just lost 50 hours of progress, Jeremy said. But what I did like about it was I liked the sailing, I liked the water, I liked the physicality of the ships. Those things were satisfying. And this is the prototype ocean screenshot from Tides of the Fortune, which Studio Wildcard have given to PC Gamer, which I just think actually looks so cool, and I wish we got this one as well. That's why some parts of Atlas, at least in spirit, are being salvaged for ARK Survival Ascended's upcoming Tides of the Fortune DLC. This summer, ARK players will be able to build huge pirate ships and sail across simulated ocean physics in search of adventure. ARK's water is famously flat and uninteresting, and having network simulated ocean physics is just cool, Jesse said. Not just for this, but also for modders and the general compatibility of the engine. We know how to work the water systems. We know how to work the physics systems, the network systems that pull that off, Jeremy said. It builds on our expertise with those mechanics from Atlas, and we hope to distill it in more accessible form that Atlas ever did, or ever had. They showed me some video, which unfortunately I can't show to you because it's work in progress, but it looked pretty brilliant. The ocean isn't as glorious to behold as a game like Sea of Thieves, but it's a major improvement over ARK's current water, sporting realistic looking waves, foamy wakes, and sunlight scattering off the rippled surface. The ship in the video and the images on this page is an asset from Atlas, so I haven't seen what your real ships will look like yet, but getting and maintaining those ships in Tides of the Fortune will be easier than it was in Atlas, and crafting a replacement if it's sunk won't be a long, labor-intensive process. They also go on to say there'll still be a lot of customization, you'll be able to put attachments on and cannons where you want and build all kinds of other regular structures on it, Jeremy said. And of course, you'll be able to bring your dinosaurs on your ship, and you may become a pirate, but it's still gonna be ARK. So, that is the full, and then yeah, clearly saw how good Windrose is looking, and yeah, I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. And by the way, they did actually reveal this, I think, before Windrose, or it might have been around about, I don't know, but they announced that this was going to be a thing at the start of the year. But if Windrose has been announced before, then maybe I'm wrong. But Windrose does look really, really good. I know I have a few friends that are playing it. So, yeah, I mean, this is a new screenshot, and it looks like Christopher Livingston has managed to see and was shown a little video of how the current wave system is working. And like in his post here, he says that, like, you know, he says it says, which unfortunately I can't show you because it's work in progress, but it looked pretty brilliant. The ocean isn't as glorious to behold as a game like Sea of Thieves, but it's a major improvement. Now, I don't know about you guys, I'm not expecting Sea of Thieves level. Like, Sea of Thieves, the entire game is a pirate game. It's about sailing the seas. That is its whole entire game. I loved Sea of Thieves so much. I thought it was such a fun game. Playing your musical, I still remember the as you're like sailing the seas with your friends. And then the last time I played Sea of Thieves, I think was 2021 when they released the Pirates of the Caribbean DLC. I really enjoyed it. I thought the ending was terrible though. I was really hoping to see more of Davy Jones. But the whole experience of playing early Sea of Thieves, I think, was great. And alongside Ark Survival Evolved, it worked really well. But I personally wasn't expecting that form of ocean. I'm still expecting really awesome water systems like we've seen in Atlas, like we've seen in, you know, I'm not saying it has to be absolutely everything from that game, but there was some really cool things, and I hope Wildcard are going to experiment with what we have seen, which is I'm going to quickly go back to now to explain what I mean. Right, so we've come back to the Atlas trailer, which we looked at last time. And let's turn off the music for now. So I wanted to skip through all of this, and I wanted to go straight to the ocean. So this is how I'm expecting that the ocean physics in Genesis Part 1 is going to be like. You've got waves, you've got a little bit more to it. And bear in mind, this is 2018, so they're going to be building on what is available and what can work with the technology now. I mean, and let's hope the fishes aren't going to glitch. Like, did you see that? I didn't even notice that before. Where is that fish? It just drops instantly down. But I think that's what, and obviously we know fortresses are coming. This is the kind of thing that we were talking about. Like, how are they gonna, is there gonna be any disasters on the ocean, and are the waves gonna be able to get this kind of heavy, and maybe it makes it a little bit harder for your ships as you're sailing the seas. The water looks, you know, the water looks like it's got life to it. And that's what I'm really, really hoping with Genesis, and being able to do these kind of things, getting on your ships, heading in a much more updated. You got to think, right? So this is December 2018. How many years is that now? 8 years? 7 or 8 years ago this was? So, I mean, that's a crazy amount of time since this actually launched, which makes you think what can be possible now with these ocean physics. I'm super excited. I hope they do go for all crazy types of, like, I want them to utilize as much as Atlas as they possibly can. I want ghost ships in the game. We know the Kraken is coming in some form. You know, these sirens, you know, do it. And this is the customization I'm super excited about. How you can drop your ship into the sea. I want them to utilize all of this. I just think Genesis can be, on its own, one of ARK's most popular DLCs. It's basically Atlas. It's going to be Atlas in Unreal Engine 5.7. And that is what is making this very exciting for me. I want it to be tough. If you're swimming and the waves get bad, you don't want it just to be like, hey, I'm going to sail my ship wherever I want to go. I want Wildcard to keep building on the toughness of the new DLCs, like they did with Lost Colony, right? Lost Colony ended up dying off, which it has now. Being honest, it's died off now, but it held a player count, the longest I've seen a DLC hold a player count, because it was so hard. It was the hardest DLC. Now, let's go to this picture here. I want to freeze it as much as I can before it goes dark. It's not easy. It's not an easy shot to get. If I try, like, maybe like here. This is what I want to see. I want to see, so for PvP especially, this is what's going to be fantastic. My main concern is how a wildcard going to ensure, so they're calling it a simulated ocean. How are they going to ensure, so we know it's map sized. What's going to happen when you get to the border of the map? Is your ship just going to bump off a bit like Sea of Thieves? Like, how much space have we got to sail? How are we going to stop a clutter of ships in the game? Because is it going to be one big ship per tribe? Maybe a couple? Is there going to be like a limit? Because there's no way that one tribe can have an unlimited amount of ships, like, because the alpha would have a stupid amount of them. Maybe 2 ships, I don't know, depending on the size. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff they've looked into here, and then you can have a couple of small ships and that, but I just want to know about the actual size of the ocean and what to expect. But there's so much potential here, and I'm really excited, guys. I want to go searching for buried treasure. I can't wait to go and find random fortresses around, and maybe you can potentially build and make those fortresses yours. Who knows? This is why this DLC is super exciting. And let's just sit here and take this picture in. Let's take in when you're on your ship, look, playing your music, sailing the seas in Genesis Part 1. I'm so ready now, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I think this is going to be fun. Of course, I've already seen the comments. I've said it myself in my videos. We're all expecting that, you know, there's been some jokes going out there saying, oh, we're going to be sailing the seas and all of a sudden we're going to drop under the map due to wildcards, bugs and issues. But if you were an Atlas player, I played the very first day of Atlas and absolutely hated it. That was that's not, I didn't get to experience, I didn't even build a ship. Like, it's because I couldn't play the servers. I just gave up and went back to ARK. It was that much of a buggy mess for me. I didn't even really get to do anything. But for anyone that went very far with Atlas, and a shout out to one of the people in the LoadedCrysis cluster, because that showed me their ship that they built. But what was the sailing like? Because if they can get the sailing right and they get the waves right, they can implement that into ARK fine. It's more about, you know, how game breaking the files are and what's added into the game, and whether they do add the ocean physics to a lot of the older maps. That's something you guys mentioned to me recently. You said, I said leave the old maps as they are, that they're legacy, they're OG, and a lot of you guys said, hey Dom, I don't agree with that. I think they should go back and sort them out. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know if they have the time. Personally, I would like to see this be the future of the maps. I just want to see loads more water like this, loads more physics, and just making the game more immersive makes me happy. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next one.